Hey drummers, today's groove is a cool pattern in 6/8. Check it out. It's always fun to learn grooves that incorporate your toms, isn't it? This groove's pretty funky, but it's not too difficult. I'm Brad Schlueter, Chicago-based drum teacher and drummer, and also a writer for Drum Magazine. In this video, we're going to break down this groove, learn it, and then we're going to expand it in a bunch of different ways. Now later in the video, I'm going to be playing this groove in a way that I don't recommend you attempt, mainly because it can damage your drums, and that would be a bummer. This particular kit is a loaner from the Indie Drum Company, and I'm reviewing it for Drum Magazine for one of their out-of-the-box reviews. This kit has a really durable finish, so I highly recommend you don't try this one particular groove later in the video. Before I get to that, we're going to learn this groove, break it down, and build it back up step by step, and then we're going to add some more embellishments to it to make it a lot more interesting, a lot more challenging, and a lot more versatile. Now I've included the on-screen notation so you can follow along, but there's also a PDF that you can get by clicking on the card that'll appear a little later in the video at the top of the screen. Now we're going to break this groove down into its component parts, adding one limb at a time, building it back up till you learn the whole groove. It's really not too difficult. This is a really cool groove, and I love how all the limbs fit together to create the pattern. I learned this groove from Gary Leach's new book on world drumming patterns called Beats Exotiques. This is an Adawa groove from Ghana, and apparently the Akan people in Ghana, after my extensive research, which was about 30 seconds on Wikipedia, use this for celebrations and funerals and all sorts of things to accompany the Adawa dance. And it's a good pattern to know just because it will work your coordination, and who knows, you may get a call for a party gig in Ghana sometime. Hey man, what's up? A wedding? Awesome, cool. Where is it? Where? What's it pay? Now, as we saw when we were playing that full groove, the right hand pattern isn't too bad, and the bass drum pattern isn't too bad. It's really the left hand that makes the groove a little bit tricky. So let's take that pattern and expand it in a couple of ways. What I want to do is I want to add a couple more bass drum notes to the pattern and shift those around a little bit and see how the groove sounds then. Now another thing we can do to challenge ourselves with this groove is add a hi-hat pattern to it. Now there are a bunch of different ones we could try. I'm going to play a heel-toe splash pattern where I splash the first note, then close it, splash it, close it. And I'm going to do this to emphasize sort of a quarter note triplet feeling against the beat. Now I'm going to try it a little bit faster. Now I'm going to play a trickier foot pattern. I'm going to play a shuffle pattern with a bass drum, and what I'm going to do with the hi-hat is play it between each one of those pairs of bass drum notes. So my feet are going to be going right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, underneath that hand pattern. It's probably sounds more complicated than it is. Check it out. Now let's kind of Americanize the pattern. I'm going to get rid of all the toms, and I'm going to simplify the bass drum pattern, basically going back to that original Adawa groove. And what we're going to do is, instead of playing it on the toms with the bell of the ride, I'm going to play it on the hi-hat with a rim click, and I'll use an open hi-hat a little later in the groove. Sounds a lot more normal that way, doesn't it? I've got another one for you. This one, what I want to do is I want to play it on the rim of the drum with a rim click and then throw a couple of the toms into the pattern as well. Don't try this next one. I'm going to play the bell pattern on the shell of the floor tom. And if you notice, I've actually reversed the microphone to point down at the shell so you can kind of hear what I'm doing. If you were to do this on your drum, I guarantee you would leave marks on your shell. I've tried it on this drum a few times. I've actually been beating on the shells of this kit all week long. It hasn't left a mark. So I'm feeling relatively confident that I will not damage these drums and end up buying them. Pretty cool, huh? By exposing yourself to grooves that are a little bit unusual, maybe from another culture, another part of the world, you can learn to do some really cool things with it. A little bit of a creativity, you can apply them in a lot of different ways and maybe find a way to use them on one of your gigs. And if nothing else, you've developed your coordination a little bit, you've opened your mind a little bit, and you've learned how to make maybe a groove from another culture sound good on your kit, which is not any small feat. For more grooves like these, please check out Gary Leach's book, Beats Exotiques. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with your drummer friends. And don't forget to ring the bell so you get notified of all my latest content. I'll see you in the next one.
Hey honey, where'd you put my passport?